Well, hello, EKN Nation. It is Thursday, primetime show here for Face2Face. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole, our second live show of the week. Just lots going on right now, David. We had to kind of jump in. There's so much kind of happening here as we roll now into December coming up tomorrow. End of 2023 is done. We're going to be talking a lot in the next couple of days about the CKNA South Winter Nationals, which is happening as well. But we're already starting to think, and I posted this up on Facebook when I was sharing this. With 2023 done, I'm already thinking Challenge of the Americas. It's one of the things that you and I look forward to every year in the off season, being able to get to the West Coast with Andy Seesemann and the crew. So representing the hat right now from many years we've been there. So yeah, we're gonna have Andy on here today. But yeah, I'm thinking about 2024 already.
Well, it's a podium hat, Rob. It's something you earned. Podium hat.
Yeah. So. Well, I beat 4. I think I finished second out of 5. So let's be real.
I mean, yeah, you didn't really earn it, but you earned it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's we keep talking about how the seasons are long, and we just got through Thanksgiving, and now boom, we're talking 2024, and we already have races that are going to be going on, like you said, Cup Karts North America Winter National is going to be happening next weekend to start the 2024 season, and of course. WK Daytona Kart Week at the end of the month. And yeah, like you said, once you start thinking 2024, it's West Coast is on my mind, and getting that warmth again down in Arizona to kick off the new season. Yeah,
not to mention the Rotax Grand Finals, which is happening next week. I'm actually going to be taking next week off. You and Dave, you and Nate will be covering the Rotax Grand Finals from home. So lots of racing still to come throughout the month. But again, we start looking forward. Our first race of 2024 is going to be the SuperKarts USA Winter Series in Homestead. And then we'll look forward to, obviously, the Challenge of the Americas getting moved. We're 2 months away, exactly 2 months away from the start of next year's Challenge of the Americas, the 17th running, February the 2nd to the 4th. At one of our favorite racetracks, the Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona. To me, still, hands down, I would put top 5 racetracks for karting in North America. The track is so ridiculously good to race on and fun to watch.
The race circuit itself, yes.
The circuit itself. There's not a lot of there's not a ton of outbuildings. There's not a lot of, in terms of to the facilities, not a the lot there. The track itself.
Watching the racing, again, we go back to, what was it? One of the first Pro Tour races that was there, the first challenge races that we went to in Tucson, and just always producing great racing and excitement, whether it be shifter kart racing, whether it be tag, whether it be any single speed cadet program, all of them. Just it produces great racing, a lot of different passing opportunities, and again, a fast racetrack, not a very slow racetrack, but still very technical. You got to get around there quick.
I'll give a shout out to my buddy Gary Calling, first guy to comment on here. And I'll bring that up right now. If you have any questions for Andy Seesemann, obviously we're talking about the program. There's lots going on. That's the big thing about this show, is really to talk a lot about the fact that the program is undergoing a lot of evolution. It's going to be a very new look program, not connected to any particular manufacturer now. It's wide open. There's a lot of changes, as we know. The West Coast is in a state of flux to a certain extent. It's really kind of evolving, and there's a lot of stuff happening. It's not the West Coast karting of old the last couple of decades, that's for sure. So Andy's going to come on, and there's a lot to talk about. So again, if you do have questions, if you're tuning in here to the broadcast, feel free, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you can hop on, you go into the comments, and if it's something we think we can work with, we'll bring it into the show and pitch it at Andy to give you some information. Really interactive for sure.
I don't think we're going to be able to put in our lunch orders, though, unless it's starting now for 2 months from now.
Carne asada plate.
Yes. There probably will be a taco truck, right?
I can't make an order until I talk to Shelby.
Good point.
So, because Shelby, Jocelyn,
just give me the carne asada fries and we're good to go.
And a burger for David. Angel Mata. I love it, man. Again, let's bring Andy Seesemann in. He's the man of the hour. Let's bring him in from Idaho.
All right.
There he is. Andy, thanks for joining us, bud.
Hey. Good old Angel chiming in about lunch orders. That guy, he never rests, man. He's always on it. He's always on it.
100%. That's for sure.
Everybody knows. I've told the staff. I said, look, everybody knows in life they're expendable, right? So I tell the staff, look, we're all expendable except for Shelby, who runs everything, and Angel, who takes your lunch order. After that, I can replace all of you.
Exactly. You're gone. Again, listen, let's do that. It's one of obviously the core components of the Challenge of the Americas. That's why so many people come back every year, whether it's from up and down the West Coast, Colorado. We've got teams that are coming in from the East recently. Of course, you've got guys coming down from Canada as well, Western Canada, to come to run the challenge and have for the last many years. Again, the 17th year. But Andy, the core for you is this core group of people, right? You see some series where the staff turns over. It's literally been this core family of people that anytime you come to one of these races, you know the people you're going to be dealing with.
Yeah, I'm blessed. I mean, that people say that as a cliche, but for sure that I am. I mean, I'm my race direction staff. The flagman's changed a couple times over the years, whether it be Casey to Derek, and now this year we have Ryan Egan coming back, who was an assistant race director a couple years ago with us. But Shelby and obviously Mark and Taylor and Tyler Brooks, and now Josh Velaz on my staff. And you got Shelby and Maddie is coming back after her pregnancy hiatus. I told her she has to get her tubes tied from now on. There's no more pregnancies.
We're done. You got work to do.
Good luck with that.
She said no, her husband took care of it, so I'm good. So we're all good on that respect. And then Guy, love Guy, right? He's still on the grid, high-fiving the kids. And then our tech staff, Dave Davies, Rob Yardley, and then Corey, who we brought in from Utah the last couple of years. I mean, it's just been a great, like you said, a great core group. I mean, everybody knows Eric, the paddock's friend, everybody's best friend, Eric.
Yeah.
But by and large, right, those dozen people have been the same people for 10 years. It is crazy.
And that's the stability, right? When you go there, it's like when we love going to In-N-Out Burger because it's so repeatable, it's consistent, right? Every time you go somewhere, we know what we're going to get. Same with Challenge. When you go there, you know that the people there, they're already experienced, and every year is another year of experience, another year of just being the best they can be. And again, like we've always said, it knocks up against any of the best core groups staff wise, coast to coast.
Thank you very much.
Right.
It makes my job easy, to be honest. I mean, and the best part about them, not only is the family aspect, but everybody knows how to stay in their lane properly, right? I mean, we all have, it's another cliche, but the stay in your lane starts from the top down. I know how to stay in my lane. I sit in the lawn chair and let everybody work, and I stay out of the way.
It's a great race. When the end of Friday, we go into happy hour. Andy pulls the lawn chair out and he's done. Don't talk to me anymore.
A driver's meeting and some trophies to do. I'm good, man. I'm good, right?
That's exactly that.
Because everybody who helps me out at these, I won't even say works for me, helps me out at these deals. They know their jobs. They do their jobs well. I empower them to do their jobs. And half the time, if I even stick my nose in, they're like, "I'm busy. Get out of my way, boss." I'm like, "That's perfect. I'm good." Eric, make me a drink.
That's it. All right, so I mentioned off the start. Let's dive into kind of the meat of this thing right now, Andy, because this is really, it's not our normal face-to-face with you, because normally we'd be clicking off things, talking about small adjustments. Hey, what are we going to do? We'd be having a cocktail and having fun because you've had repeatability over the years, although obviously some engine program changes, Rotax into the Rock program. Up into 2024 now, this is we're opening things up, right? You don't have the connection with Rock and the official connection. It's essentially an independent series now, so something brand new after 16 years of being connected to a manufacturer. So we'll jump into that, but first and foremost, because of that, there's a shift. Because you're not with Rock anymore, there's not the connection to the spec tire. Brand new tire, man. You got a new partner with Vega for 2024. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody knows Vega as a very, very high quality tire, one of the favorites, one of the best in worldwide karting. And they really haven't had a huge presence on the West Coast in quite some time. I mean, Todd Spouty and Raymond from TS Racing do a phenomenal job in the East Coast, especially with the CKNA program. They do some work with WK. I mean, they have the dirt market. I mean, they have their hands in a lot of different programs, but they've never really had a big presence in the West. There was certainly an opportunity there for them and I. So it was certainly definitely a way to move to a different program. As you talk about, the West Coast is in a state of flux, right? Right now, it seems like every race of any kind of, I don't want to say notoriety because every race has notoriety, but every big national, regional, yada, yada, yada race is literally in the Eastern time zone next year. I mean, they're barely even coming there. I think there's one race in the Central time zone, maybe two, but the rest are in the Eastern time zone. So it's like, man, we just need to wrap our arms around as many people as we can that don't feel like making that 2,500-mile journey 10 times next year. And and come and race with us. And the only way to do that is to really leave our program open. I mean, 100cc programs have been so very successful, the biggest 100cc programs west of the Mississippi, because we allow both IME and rock to compete together, right? Obviously, we've always had mini rock and then the shifter programs. And then this year we've decided to open it up. I mean, we're going to open up the cadet program to the Swifts, let them run together and just let the market sort itself out. And with the resurgence of KZ, I mean, we've all been around the sport long enough. We've seen the come and go. And right now we're on KZ's on the upslope again, right? So it makes sense to be able to add that to our shifter program, run it as one class, give the rock a little bit of a weight break because it has a little bit less horsepower than a KZ. But in the end, just let the market sort itself out and put its arm around as many people as we can.
You know, I was talking to a couple of guys, Andy, at the Supernats, and there were some team owners that were kind of lamenting the fact that, hey, listen, you go back, 50 years, and it was all Southern California, right? That was kind of the hotbed. Now there was still lots of great racing on the East Coast, but he was worried with the fact that, like, is literally karting going to completely go to the East Coast? Like, are the teams and the industry on the West Coast simply going to turn their back on it? We're just going to have no karting. Like, and again, there's issues, as we know, with the loss of Cal Speed. Everybody's kind of waiting on the launch for K1 in Winchester. But again, a couple of the team owners will listen. I'm running Gary Carlton being one of them. Greg Bell, I talked to them. They're going to run this. Ron White just posted on here that Ronnie White's coming out, bringing his team out again. So it's kind of there's Ron right there. It's a time, I think, and let's just talk about this briefly, and we'll jump back in because I think it's topical. We're in a time right now that I think people in the West Coast, the industry needs to really rally around the West Coast series and the West Coast events. Otherwise, they're not going to be a West Coast event anymore.
No, really. I mean, regardless if it's, from a selfish standpoint, it's a challenge, but whether it's pad holder up here, whether it's, Rock Sonoma, whether it's Tri-C, whether it's UMC, teams, shops, whatever, really need to rally around their local communities because, as you know, just like with your girlfriend, right? The more time you're away from her, the more time she has to look around or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, if teams keep going east, those local markets are going to dry up, and in 18 months, it's going to be really scary. I mean, I know it's scary. I talk to the teams all the time, whether it be Greg or Gary or Ron or Ryan Ruthless or Greg Welch, right? And it's like, man, they're worried about their local areas, but then in the end, they still kind of go to the East Coast, and it's like, man, you really got to dig hard. I mean, the guy that has it figured out, and luckily he has a really, really strong regional program, is Greg Welch. Greg Welch doesn't leave Colorado between April and October, right? Now,
he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to, right? He has a Colorado karting tour, which is a fantastic program, right? So he has his customers, they stay close to home. They don't chase all these big races all the way across the country. He doesn't need to leave, right? We need to get back to that, but man, a couple teams have asked me to put something on, but to be honest, look at my Pats races this year, right? I put a race on at Pats. We had to cancel it with less than 20 entries on the board with 2.5 weeks to go. I mean, because everybody was back east.
When you say that's more focused on 2-cycle racing, because you look on the other side, again, we love 4-cycle racing ourselves. And again, this is kind of just sport as a whole, not so much challenge stuff that we're talking about, but you got Phoenix that has a sizable club. Like you just said, Colorado, sizable clubs, Pacific Northwest, sizable clubs, even Northern California and Southern California, they have sizable clubs. So it's the fact of people who don't want to necessarily stay home and want to look elsewhere. That's kind of the problem where we have in the 2-cycle world, at least on the West side, is there's not the Route 66, there's not the Stars Championship Series, there's not the Texas Sprint Racing Series or the Sunshine Karting Challenge, like the regional programs in 2-cycle racing, or even a combination of both 2-cycle and 4-cycle to keep people outside of their local racetracks. So if they don't go local, they have to look elsewhere. And the only thing right now, in terms of major events, like you said, is USPKS and Supercars USA Pro Tour, aside from the challenge during the winter.
You say that, but they're out there. I mean, Tom still ran Pro Kart this year and averaged 80, not 200 like he used to be. Right? It's there. Donald Durbin stepped up and put a regional program on that was both KA and LO206 and had less than 50 at every race. So
that was all pretty much Briggs racers too. Yeah,
he did step up to do it. right?
Right.
People didn't show up for whatever reason. I don't know why, right? So when you make that excuse that they don't exist, they're out there. They are out there, right? But people say, oh, well, I was going to do that, but I was back east. Or I was going to do this, but I was back east. Well, then it kind of serves itself, right?
So,
like
so
said,
then
the strong one up here is Pat Holder. I mean, they're doing a phenomenal job.
Well, listen, we've been talking about it for 20 years, though. It's like the Pacific Northwest is an island in and of itself, right? A lot of people
really
don't even know what's
is.
going on up there, and it's been thriving since the 60s and 70s. So it's just they're kind of in their own area up there, and the guys in Pat Holder, the Northwest Karting Association, shout out to them. They do a great job up there. They got a lot of passionate people, some great racetracks, and they run at some old school racetracks as well. Let's be real; some of them aren't new facilities as well, like the one in Tacoma. But Andy, that kind of speaks to where you're going, right? So listen, it's for you where you are and on the West Coast. You as a series, the best thing to do is again, this is really kind of the deal is to open up everybody. Let's listen. It's the challenge has been around for 16 years. This is the 17th season. Tremendous series, great people, great tracks. Why not open the door and limit the barrier of entry so more people can come and be involved, right?
For sure. And that's the goal. That was the whole part of it. There was no fight between Rock and I. There was no disagreement. It was simply that I was going to do this, and with me opening up the classes, it's basically ceased to become a Rock only program, which then gave me the opportunity to go look for other partners. I mean, that's what it came down to.
So, Dave, go.
I was going to say, so we talked about you changing the categories, tag cadet, obviously being that shifter masters, 100cc stuff, junior, senior, masters, that's staying the same. But you're also bringing back the OKN category as well, too. What's been kind of the feedback about the tire change? Because we're going to have probably a little bit of a stickier tire than what we had before. And talk about kind of the feedback on, are we getting a lot of returning drivers? Are we getting new drivers? What's been kind of the early feedback on the OKN category?
OKN, there's definitely a couple new drivers. I mean, I know GFC has a junior or two that are moving up that are already asking about engines. I know, obviously, we'll see what Blake and Jesus do, who are kind of our fastest two this past year. Just depends. I mean, I'm committed to that program, and I've been in talks with Vega to try to get some help towards the OKN World Cup. We'll see if that pans out. I'll know within the next few weeks. I mean, people ask me about what are the prizes, what are this, this all happens. This all happened, and the whole industry is in a big state of flux, right? Obviously, the two big USA programs just had their Vegas race, so they're like wiping their brow and kind of taking a breather right now, right? It's a homologation year in Europe for the tires, which we can talk about in a second if you like, right? So you have a lot of stuff going on, but so. What I'm trying to do is to talk to the different manufacturers of the different programs and try to get some, whether we call it contingency money, where we talk about, prizes, the prizes that aren't attached only to its individual interior program, right? So I have made some, inquiries to Vega. What can we do for the shifter categories? What can we do? Can we find some money or some prizes that we can hand that shifter driver if he wins on a KZ? Couldn't we give him some money to go to the KZ2 World Cup? Could we give the guy a KZ2 Masters World Cup? Excuse me, right? Same, or the OKN. So I'm working on that stuff. That's my project for the next 4 to 6 weeks. But for sure, there's certainly interest in OKN. I'm going to piggyback on there so you don't have to ask. OKN Junior has been tossed around, but it hasn't been tossed around with any seriousness, right? It's the same thing. I made the mistake last year with the Rock Junior Shifter, if you recall, right?
Yes.
We need Rock Junior Shifter. We need Rock Junior. We need a Junior Shifter class. So Vortex, to their credit, went out and created a header, right? They did the R&D, created a header. I brought in, spent $1,000 on all these headers, brought them in, 0 entries.
0 entries. Listen, has there been any chatter about that since? Or did it just die in the wind?
Just died. I've sold a couple of headers, and then everybody who wanted a shifter now all of a sudden is, I don't know, who knows, right? Who even knows? To be honest,
we are
Henry
seeing
Korn,
Gage
Korn was the only one that even made attempt to entry, and we realized he was the only one. He just said, "Fine, I'll just do my 100cc."
David, you and I have talked about this. We are seeing more drivers, young drivers, 14, 15, 16, looking at the shifter category, the KZ category, that we've seen in the last number of years, right? We've seen young guys like Anthony Martella, come in as well. Like there's been a couple of drivers who have come in that are a little younger, maybe focusing on that. So is that something, Andy? Have you talked to any of your teams whether or not we could see some of the kids coming out of junior or maybe the younger drivers in senior wanting to bang gears?
I haven't really had that discussion. Obviously everything's my phone's always on. So, I mean, when people want to talk to me, they can easily talk to me. I don't dodge phone calls. But I haven't heard any of that chatter, to be fair.
Okay. All right, let's talk. Do you want to, Dave, do you want to talk the actual compounds? You mentioned briefly about the fact that we're going to have a bit of a softer tire. Andy, you can probably speak to this for those that don't know, maybe you haven't been at the challenge before, don't know anything about the Levantos that you ran last year. What are you expecting in terms of compounds? The softer for the Vegas, that's obviously going to change the racing a little bit.
The XH4, which is a tire we would be on, which is the brand newly homologated tire, right? It could not get homologated until November 1 because that's homologation year starts. That from the teams that did the testing, they said the XH4 is very, very similar to the best Levantos we had. Now, it's no secret the Levantos had some up and down this year with batches, right? I don't care to go into that. All I'm saying is the best Levantos we had, the XH4 is very, very similar, according to them. Sidewall's a little different. Said it's a bit progressive, which means you can predict what's going to happen a little bit, which means you can drive it a little harder with some of the feedback. Is where because you know what's going to happen if you drive it harder. It doesn't fall off a cliff like some of the tires do. We did some testing with the shifters, and then we put it on 100cc and got another. After putting 30 laps on with a rock shifter, we then put it on our VLR and put another 150 laps on the thing, and it still stayed pretty even. So,
wow.
The XH4 is the CIK option tire, which is designed, and I believe what does the CIK say? It needs to do 150 to 200 laps. David, there's a in the CIK rules, FIA karting rules. There's like a lap. I don't say requirement, recommendation, whatever the word is that they use. Right, so it's their option tire. It's actually the tire that they use for the OKN races. I was just
going to say it was used. Well, the XH3, which was the homologated tire, was used in the OK Junior World Championship, WSK European Championship, FIA Academy Trophy as well. So, and a lot of other different programs. So it's utilized both junior, senior, and I believe shifter as well too, because I believe in WSK they used it in the shifter category. So it's probably like it's not the softest tire, right, but it's kind of like that medium.
Yeah, it's our option tire. I mean, medium to them is the stickiest in the world to us, but it is what it is, right? Now that being said, our cadets are not going to run that tire. Our cadets are going to run the VAH, which is the red, which they use at all the CKNA races, right? It's an American compound, right? The TS Racing kind of, I don't say holds the patent to, but it's kind of been the compound that Todd and those guys created for the four-stroke racing, which is on the cadet was only 0.4 slower, I think, than the SH4. So it wasn't a terrible difference. But
and again, from our experience racing it on the Briggs side and seeing the 2-cycle people come over and race it at the Cup Cards Grand Nationals, they love the tire. They love the durability of it and how it performs, and they would love to use it on 2-cycle. So it's going to be exciting to see not the tag cadet categories using it, but you look at it this way: if they race 4-cycle, they could have the same tire all year long. They could run your challenge tires and at the Cup Carts races as well too.
Absolutely. So that's exciting. And then obviously everybody knows that the Vega Wet is one of the best, if not the best, wet tire on the market. So I mean, it's a win-win for sure.
So Andy, we're 2 months out, and I know the crazy. I won't poke you much on this because I know it's a sore spot. But you had to you came out early with your schedule, as you know, right? The date you were gonna start the program.
You say early. We used to not have to release our schedules till October, and then it became September, and then it was Labor Day, and then it was now we're literally releasing our schedules on Easter Sunday. It's getting crazy, right?
Are we racing this year on Easter?
Yeah, but you're throwing the date that you guys. I know. I only set this up to say that you had to make an adjustment. Obviously, we talk about the fact there's such focus on the East Coast right now, and they were just shuffling around to make moves. They made some moves. You had to make some moves, but you have dialed things, which is great. February 2nd, 3rd, 4th for the opening round at Musselman. First week of March for rounds number 3 and 4, the second event. And then, of course, second weekend of April, once again, back to Sonoma. Fantastic Sonoma to wrap things up. A great racetrack. And it always is an awesome place for us to kind of cap off the season, the championship, because it's so racy there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and to throw in a excitement, right? We're running Tucson clockwise, which we never have. So it's literally a brand new racetrack to, I don't know, anybody but the team managers, because nobody who currently races has raced it that way, right? I mean, maybe Gary and Ron have, but nobody else has even run it that way. So
probably Nash has, or somebody in Nash's tent, probably Matt Johnson ran it that way.
I don't know. I mean, I think the last time they really ran it that way was that 03 Stars race or something, right? I mean, who knows?
Come on, David. Go back. My mind's mush.
Every Pro Tour race I ran it the other way.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the Stars races. I don't know about the Stars races. Which way did they go? Stars of karting.
That's what I said. The Stars race in 03 or 04 or whatever it was.
Oh, that would be 05. Okay, yeah, that's where you threw me.
The one where every ICA blew up. And
that would have been 05. That would have been 05. Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy was putting around at half throttle like his electric go-kart was turned down to half speed.
Nick Tonkin.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
On a Burrell.
On a Burrell
Yep.
out of Canada.
All right. So yeah. Matt Johnson just posted, said he has raced it once that direction.
Okay.
So
all right.
There you go. So here, I want to have some fun here a little bit, because here's the thing. Now, obviously, one of the growth areas you've had, not huge growth, because this is where this hat comes from. You go back to the Masters category, your 100cc Masters class, Andy, and you kind of got the thing going. Jimmy Gregory from Canada on K&K came down. He was our only Masters driver. We capped off the season. David had to be at another race, so I wasn't announcing. Chappie was announcing, and you said, "Hey, Rob, you're doing the coverage. I got a cart. You run." So I was the second Masters. We got Calvin Chen, I think, came out. One of the local drivers.
Mandarino ran with you for a day at least.
Yeah, one of the local guys from Sonoma came out. We had 5. Mm-hmm. We've seen some growth in this class. There's been a number of teams, obviously Forward Direction Motorsports. Greg's done a great job bringing guys out to 100cc Masters. We've seen growth in that category since the Supernats last year, right? Obviously, we got that up to 40-something. There was 48 there at the Supernat. There are a lot of guys with KA Masters packages on the West Coast. I think we need to drop the gauntlet here and call them out. This is a great opportunity for these guys all to get together and put 20 carts on the racetrack. I think this is key for the drivers, especially in the West Coast. If you're a West Coast Masters driver and you have that one big race to run, and maybe you run your club a little bit here and there, this is a good opportunity to race against some big dogs. Ian Kunches, you got to race against him. Chris Mann, there are some big dogs that run that program.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'd love to see those guys. I mean, there's a good group of them at Tri-C, an absolute good group. There's a good group at Rock Sonoma that run them, right? And it's like we don't see them. And I understand. Trust me, I understand as a longtime Masters driver, retired, unretired, whatever. Like when the economy takes a turn and mama's looking at you, like she'll find money for Junior to race, but Dad, go mow the lawn and get out of your go-kart, right? I get it. But these are all relatively close to home races. You should be able to stretch out, do a little bit. I mean, the competition is great. The tracks are amazing. I mean, we'd love to see some new faces out there, to jump in, because it's definitely, as you know, Rob, that new experience of taking a step away from your home track and trying something new.
I love that. Yeah.
And I understand it, right? When I go back 10,000 years when I started, you're afraid to leave your home track a little bit. And I'm not saying these guys are afraid. I'm just saying you're hesitant because, man, I know this place. I know the schedule. I know the day. I know the turn. I just know everything. And now I'm going to something new. That's the exciting part. And the part that guys don't give enough credit to is when you go to other tracks, you go back to your home track with a new appreciation and actually attack your home track differently with 100%. A few different lines and get better at your home track because of that experience.
I often compare it if you're a golfer and you play your track, your home golf course, right? Your club, every weekend, blah, blah, a couple times a week. Yeah. And you know how to play that course, but then you go try something different and all of a sudden you stretch yourself out a little bit. You have to play a bit differently. And you have to attack the course a little bit differently. Right. Same thing when you go to another track. You're out there, you're stretching yourself out, because I think when you're a club guy, you get into that groove, or this is the way I take the corner all the time. And when you can stretch yourself for a brand new track, in my opinion, it's so crucial for racers to go out and try different racetracks. I know when I first did that as a kid, when I was a kid, when I was 27 when I started karting, but when I first started going out and running other tracks like a Goodwood or where a Goodwood or wherever it was, it just totally changed what I did back home.
Absolutely. No, I embrace that 100%. And that was the beauty of when regional programs were bigger is it wasn't as costly. I get it. You could still race your home track against the big dogs and then maybe go to one or two others in the two tracks closer to you. Well, now that a lot of those programs are shrinking, there's not that opportunity. Now it's, man, I got to go from X to Y and that's 500 miles and but that's the only way you're going to do it. It's the only way to get better.
Here's some guys on board with us here. Phil Pigdotero, going to a new track shows your talent. You always get better. Racing against better home track drivers like that. Daryl Redlin, of course, 100% on board. David Jimenez says, work permitting. I hope to be there to shifter. Love that. Yeah, if you're going to run the
David,
town,
sorry, number 29 is already taken. Sorry, David, you can't.
If you're going to come run, give us a shout out here. Let us know you're coming. Who else we got here? Corey Milne. Andy's looking to. Oh, here we go, Andy. Andy should look into a summer series similar to the Challenge. There is no racing on the West Coast.
You tuned in a little late.
How many times do you want to try it?
Right? Breaking news. Hold on. Breaking news.
What?
I'm racing.
Gary Carlson's racing.
Yes.
Come on.
How awesome would that? New Supercarts USA Hall of Famer coming up to race. I love it.
100cc Masters, Gary Carlton. I can see Gary going on the straightaway like this, just grabbing at nothing.
Nothing.
He needs to.
I don't think. Wait. Oh no. I'm writing up an article, and we were talking about the All-Star Classic at PRI show.
Yeah.
That was down in Orlando. That was probably the only time I've ever seen Gary run a single speed kart because it was. I think he was doing road tax
on the road tax.
CRG. Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. So if you're watching right now, we got a lot of people tuning in. If you're coming to race, let us know you're coming, and we'll bring it up here. We'd love to hear that. It's awesome. Oh, here.
And enter when it opens. When entry opens next week, enter.
Yeah. Listen, literally a common thread of anytime we talk to promoters on here, it's literally, well, we know what people are going to, everybody's late. They're going to enter the last minute. Don't do that. Just get entered for God's sakes. Get it done. Gary. He's going to be racing from my tent.
Nice. Exactly.
Bullshit.
I'm not sure you're fast anymore. You're not a sprinter, GFC.
He's going to get stopped by 20 people on the way too.
Ooh, hold on. Hold on. So Tim Myers, he said he's going to miss his wife's scheduled an African safari. Why not? He's going to miss Tucson, but he'll be there for Sonoma and K1 to make the championship interesting. I like that. How about this one? Corey Milne. I'll be at all challenge events with 5+ shifters. Calling all gear bangers. Let's go. That's amazing.
Okay, save this because on January 30th, I'll go. You have 4. Get the 5th. Get the 5th, Corey. Get the 5th.
Well, while we're talking, we'll mention this at the end, though, Andy. Just so we're getting rolling here. So entries open on Monday, right? December 4th.
Sean's working on it. We just got to work through a couple.
Week.
We're doing a website update a little bit, some other things. So it'll be sometime next week. The goal is Monday. It may be Wednesday, right? And
so keep an eye out. We'll you guys will post.
There's always somebody keep an eye out because the minute I open it, there's always one person that registers within 5 minutes and they get a free T-shirt. Like every year, that's our deal, right? You get a free T-shirt if you're the first entry. So there's always somebody waiting. So that's always cool. Now, like some of the big Vegas races, I don't have 130 people waiting, but there's always one at least. So thank you to whoever that one will be this year.
Sure enough. So let's Dave go. I'll bring up something later.
Yeah, I was just going to get into a little bit more of the tire stuff. Because we were talking about homologation. You said November 1, they finally got the homologation done. When are those new tires going to be available here in the USA?
So the XH4's container is due to deliver to TS Racing, the importer, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. This is perfect timing.
Well, perfect.
I already have my first order programmed. He's literally going to unload the container, fill my pallets, and the truck will be there at 1 o'clock. It's 6 days, so I should have them by December 11th, whatever that Monday is. Beyond that, I'm doing containers right to each race event. So, I mean, I'm not relying on that program. My container just got loaded yesterday and is due to leave Italy on the 5th, I think, which means it hits Tucson a week before my event, basically. So I've ordered enough to get us through here, this little testing period, a few hundred sets, and then the containers will hit each event. So they're here. They will be here. Go ahead.
Okay.
And what exactly with FTK Promotions and FTK Full Throttle Karting? What is the official partnership with TS Racing and the whole Vega deal that you're doing?
We're considered the Western distributor for TS. I mean, Todd Spouty. That's what the TS is for. If people don't know, Todd's a career karter like the rest of us. I mean, Todd was telling me the story when I went and met with him a month and 2 months ago, almost at this point. He was telling me the story about how he flew to Italy for the World Championships and had to actually break in Mike Wilson's engines one time. He was like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid, right? So I mean, Todd goes back a fair ways, like Haddock and a lot of these guys do, right? So he just flies under the radar because he's more of a 4-cycle guy now. So we don't see him at all the big 2-cycle races. So the current generation doesn't know who Todd Spouty is.
Well, road racing. I mean, come on.
Road racing.
That's true. He's a big road
racer. I mean, Bill Spotty.
That's it.
I mean, he was legendary. When I was a kid, they would roll in with a bus and would pull the carts out from underneath the bus and tent, camp there and they're a 3-generation, probably going to be a 4th with Brett's son, children. And so yeah, they
just had another baby.
Yeah, just had another. He keeps adding them. Yeah, I mean, they're at least for my family. We've known the Spotties forever. You look back at a lot of the magazines. Todd was racing Scott Pruitt and Lynn Haddock at Long Beach Grand Prix in the B stock laydown carts. So this is a family that's in growth. They're no different than the Dismore family. Or or the Freeber family. They've been ingrained in this sport for a very, very long time.
Some of the first people I met when I first started working for National Karters, I met them at WK Kart Fest. It was one of the first families I met. Todd and his sister and the whole crew there. So no doubt about that. Hey, listen.
And they've been great. They've been great to work with. Todd is old school. He's like me. He's a look in the eye handshake guy. His word is bond and. I'm pleased to have a partnership with them, and like I said, we're going to expand their reach a little bit in the U.S. and it's gonna be beneficial for everybody.
What's I'm gonna throw a couple more names out here because guys are posting in here. What is the high water mark? What was the record entry? I think it was at Cal Speed a couple of years ago. What was that? Because I want to see us beat the record this year. Opening things up, all the excitement with the shifters. OKN growing. I
can see David by his face. He's looking up what the total. Like you can see his his serious research face.
You look it up
because it's right around 145. It's right around 145.
I thought George Tavares is bringing Michael Gouache.
Yes,
fastest 65-year-old in the country.
Yes,
he'll be there. He's a badass for sure. Who else do we see?
Rob and Dave, did you see the T-shirt proof that Giles just posted? I missed it.
I saw it in our text. Yeah, I saw the text.
I actually put it on I put it on Facebook. I just tagged you guys, but
yeah, it was 147 at Cal Speed in 2021.
Oh, I like that. That shirt looks good. I like it.
Mike's been a great partner for us. I mean, M2 Brandwear. Plug. I mean, he's
look at that.
He's the one that provides, and it's also I tagged you on I shared it and tagged you, but on Facebook. He's been a great partner. He's the one that does all our podium hats, all our apparel, all our swag, our T-shirts. I mean, he's such a great partner. I would, he does such great work for me, and I appreciate him so much. So, if you are a karting company or a non-karting company and need some apparel, please call M2 Brandwear.
100%. Here's a question.
David
Cole dropping it in there.
Boom.
It's better. It covers up Andy. So this
works.
Right. Yeah.
Here's a question.
Like Tom said, you put the picture of all the tires instead of my face on the thing, so it's perfect.
Is he racing?
Mike. So Mike, as you know, broke his leg at Rock Vegas in 22. Had not raced all this year, and then he came up and raced Spud Cup with me, the 4-cycle race up here. So he did a day or two with Huff down there just to kind of get his elbows dirty again, and then jumped in one of my carts up here and raced Spud Cup with me and had a great stayed at the house. Him and Brigandy, it was like a frat house. It was Eric and Brigandy and Giles and me. It was my birthday gift to Kathy. It was her birthday weekend, so she got a house full of go-kart racers. She was so happy.
Oh, she loves that.
Yeah.
She was probably missing a British sounding one, though, right?
You know what she likes? Yeah. You know what she likes? She likes cooking for people and taking care of people. So she actually did like that part. But as far as all the rest of the shenanigans, probably not. But so Mike did.
Oh, go.
And Mike, he ran around, had a good time, finished, I think, 7th or 8th, and he didn't get any wrecks. We just had fun. He just had fun.
That's perfect. Speaking of that, first off, let's go here. Can I buy Coda shirts online? Scott Weeks. Will they be available online? Andy,
Scott, you know how to get a hold of me. After the first event, just tell me what you want, and I'll take your credit card, charge you double, and send one to you.
Perfect. Here's another one. You're talking about Spud Cup. Here's a good question from Steve Bates. Andy, would you entertain bringing back 4-cycle classes in the near future?
As entertaining as it might be, I haven't entertained it. One is the time. It's just the time, right? I mean, we run a 7-class program, 7 race group program, which with the length of our races fits perfectly, right?
It does.
Any additional class, literally you know what? You know me, I'm a math guy, right? So 7 classes, that means everybody gets 14% of the day. You go to 8 classes, now everybody gets 12% of the day. That literally you're cutting out 12% to 14%. Some people think is only 2%. No, 12% to 14% is 8%. You're losing.
Or we're pushing to like 6:30 at night, 7 o'clock at night. Sometimes.
Right. I mean, that's why we're done by 4:45 every day. We don't start till 8 a.m. Right. I mean, that's some of the benefit of that. Right. Who knows? Could we ever get there? I don't know. I've always thought about it, but in the end, right now, we're at a good spot with the number of classes and the length of the day that any additional might take away from what we already offer people.
We had Briggs before. That was the only time Dave Cole got a chance to run the challenge. He spent more time in the dirt at Phoenix than he did in the racetrack. So I don't know if that's
I am a better driver than what I was back then, so I will say that.
I will 100% say that, David. That's very true.
Yeah, Andy can't agree with it, but
I mean, you'd only been driving for 28 years then instead of 32. So I mean, it was
just not much on the sprint tracks.
Yeah. It's actually 34, but yeah.
And listen, Chuck Gaffair with a good point though. Don't cut into happy hour either.
Never. Hey, Chuck, I heard Chuck said he's coming out this year. From what I hear to race OKN. Chuck, but
Caleb's going to cars, right? I think Chuck needs to get back in 100cc Masters category. That's what he needs to do.
There you go.
I mean, he has been losing weight, so
he's
that's
on
a
the
good
Chuck
thing.
G program. Yep.
He's been running, watching his weight because that was his main problem. It's not the skills thing. I think he could probably be good now. Not maybe what he used to be when he forget to go to the podium to get his trophies, but
Chuck.
But yeah,
Chuck. I raced Spud Cup in an LO206 at 38 pounds overweight and finished in the mid pack. Sack up.
There it is. Challenge laid down.
Here's the challenge. Here's the challenge right there. Chuck G.
They're
scared from Peggy. I like it.
All right, Manning.
Caleb is coming to my knowledge. Maybe we'll see Caleb running because he was with Greg Bell at Leading Edge Motorsports.
Oh, there you go.
And Vegas, so maybe he'll show up with Greg Bell. Ooh, that'd be kind of cool.
Maybe Manning runs Piggy, and then Chuck comes and races under Bell too. Who knows?
Oh,
that sounds like a pretty good idea.
I don't know if Chuck could handle Caleb giving him all the driver coaching though.
Well, Caleb does now have his driver's license. So.
Separate sides of the tent.
Yeah.
Separate sides of the tent. Well, Caleb over here, Chuck over there. Yeah, I love it. All right. Chuck says he'll come and help with the bar.
Yeah, I don't think Eric needs help. You're a drain. You're a drain on my bar.
All right, Andy. So listen, we're 45 minutes into this thing. We're 2 months. We're 2 months away. Obviously, like you said, really, I guess I don't know if it's time to get on the phone and start talking to people, but like I said, there's a core group of people that that have been part of this program. It's the idea you and I keep talking about this, that small amount of growth every year, right? Just getting that 10% and just bringing some of those new teams in. And that's one of the things I think when David and I are talking to people, wherever we are, at whatever race we are around the country, people ask us about the program. It's all about having a good time. It's so well run. There's never any drama in terms of kind of what happens with the racing. Like, yeah, there's drama here and there every once in a while. It's
a racetrack,
right? But it's such a fine-tuned program. Like you said, we're not on the racetrack at 7 o'clock in the morning. We're not racing until 5, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8 at night or whatever. We're not doing podiums at 8 o'clock. It's really well run. So it really is about just getting a couple of new teams. The GFC's there. Leading Edge is going to be there. Ron White's going to be there. Forward Direction will be there. Ruthless. Nash. You have that group of guys. It's
Speed Sense, Vimy, Cartplex with Craig Feiner, Liberante. I mean, we've had some great groups, obviously, right? Formula Works is with GFC, but but yeah, look, Corey Milne just threw the gauntlet down, said he's coming with 5. All right, there you go, Corey. We got 5. There's 5, right?
Christian Bird, CB Motorsports comes out as well.
Bird,
so,
right. I mean, even Justin with J3 comes out with a few Arizona races, right? Doesn't make them all, but like every little bit helps, right? I mean, and
numbers breed numbers.
Numbers breed numbers. I mean, here, like you said, here's the problem. People wait till the last minute. So literally 2 weeks to go, people are like, who's entered? I'm like, well, are you entered? Well, no, I'm not entered. I want to know who entered. Well, if you didn't enter, that means there's 35 other guys like you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story, right? Mike Pat Sager's race. And I'm not going to name names, and he'll probably call me and get mad at me, but that's fine. I got thick skin. You know that. Guy calls me when I canceled and said, I can't believe you canceled. I said, why? He goes, I had already rented an engine and arranged a mechanic. I had arranged my hotel room. I had bought flights for the mechanic, and now you canceled. I said, oh, who's the driver? So-and-so. I looked and said, well, you're not coming. What do you mean I'm not coming? You didn't enter. Well, no, but I did all the other work. I said, yeah, but you didn't do the thing that's the most important.
Yes.
Right? I bring in tires based on entry, just like I'm not just me. Everybody who does this job, right? We bring in fuel based on this entry. Even things as the staff, right? We get to a certain number, we may need 1 or 2 more people, right? Right? You only need X amount of people with 100 people. 120, you need more. 150, you need more. 200, you need more, right? So all those things depends on the entries. But that dad did all of this work, like that hotel has been built for 30 years. It wasn't going anywhere. That airplane was flying, right? But didn't enter the race.
Yeah.
It's like, please enter the race. It's the most important thing you can do.
And again, when we say numbers breed numbers, that's such a huge part of it, right? When people
I can
know
advertise
people are coming,
I can advertise it. But if you don't call me with a week to go and say, who's coming? I want to know. But if you're not entered, my rule is, if you're entered, I may give you a little hint. If you're not entered, I won't even answer the question. Like, if you're not entered, you don't deserve to know who's coming.
I agree. Bring it back up. Gary Carlton calling all shifter drivers. I know for a fact the top shifter drivers in the country will be racing on the West Coast this winter. I like it.
What's funny is I talked to Wick, I talked to Kyle at Rock Vegas, and he said, man, I'm excited about KZ, but I want to bring – I said, well, man, I'd love to have you come back because he missed this year, right? And he says, well, I have a little team up there. I'm thinking of bringing 4 drivers. He said, you don't need a race. Bring your 4 guys. We don't need to have you, Kyle. I need 4 more guys. That's what we do.
we got to get the Catalyst boys coming down too. Rashidi and the boys to come down.
We'd love to see them. Talk to Cam Egger today. He said he has a driver or 2 coming down. I mean, Cam has his little team going, and he's working through. It's all about building those little building blocks, right? That's great. We have teams, the Nashes and the Ruthlesses and the Ron Whites and the Carltons, with the 10s and the teens and all that. But you know what? 2, 3, 4, it all helps. And you know what? It puts money in the team's pocket, and it helps the race. I mean, it's good for everybody.
True enough. Got to get the Team Visalia boys back out as well.
Yeah, for sure. Come on, Nick. Where are you at? Right.
Daryl Tunnell was trying to buy us a beer at the at Vegas, and I was on a low.
Yeah, he was on a. Yeah, we were both on a low.
I went a little too high the one day, and I was on it. I'm going to be a good boy today. When he came
and every other. I get it. As I get older, you got to go. It's every other. You got to go every other.
100% every other. I slept.
That's why he doesn't start Thursday night when we go to challenge. He waits till Friday.
Friday.
There you go.
Everybody's excited. You know who's the most excited? Angel. He's already got 2 of the food trucks coming, so he's already going, man. He's got the coffee.
He's already asking for orders.
He's already got the coffee guy. He's got Jackie's. He's got GG's. He's already working on stuff. So,
man.
I mean, that's a critical part of being a promoter. Is making sure people are going to get fed, right? Because not a lot of racetracks, especially on the West Coast, none of them have concessions at the racetrack. So
Sonoma does, but that's it.
Yeah, that's true. Sonoma does have one. But
Sonoma also has Angelo's. So
I was just gonna say
point.
that.
Yeah.
But I will listen. He's not wrong. That's one of the big parts of the challenge. I think is like I love that part of it. Just going there, the different food trucks we have. I know it's such a small thing, but in the overall experience, you can be grilling out yourself, whatever you want to do. But man, if you got a really good food trucks, I think it's a great part of it.
Yeah, we've been. That's the best thing about the Arizona races is they have a good food truck community that can come out and support it, right? And I mean, remember they have like Brazilian fusion, and one year we had a pizza oven guy, and then the one year we had the grilled cheese guy at Phoenix. Like all he did was grilled cheeses, right? Okay. And then the world's famous video, the world's hottest tacos that Sean ate at the time and made his foot explode.
Oh, I love it when it comes up on my Facebook memories. It's one of the greatest videos.
The two best videos from Challenge, regardless of the 17 years, are Sean tongue about to bleed from the hot sauce, and Eric breathing in all the Rotex exhaust with his mouth that one morning. So those,
I'll put a third. It was when Huff put on the who was the big guy racing Rotex?
Randy Stover. Randy
Stover's suit on.
Well, Randy's like 6'3", 280, and Huff was like 5'6", 150, so he was like half.
It looked like an astronaut suit.
So we listen. We mentioned Visalia, and Ron White just said I got a few the Visalia guys to go to Vegas. They may be doing more. So there you go. It's a shout out to. We need to get Jimmy back and Nick George and the whole crew. Bill Piles will probably be back out again. I would bet Bill loved it. He had a great time running there.
Bill Piles used to be part of Team Dean, and then Dean didn't race the last one, so I changed the name to Team Piles, and Dean didn't like that.
Well, this just says we got there. Yeah, Dave.
Perfect, Marianne.
Right?
Tell Dean he better race, or otherwise it's going to change to Team Piles again.
Dave and I trying to produce a show at the same time. Yeah, we're gonna get Mike there. Bill Piles again. Listen, one of the great things about our sport right now is we do have a bunch of guys that are in their like 60s and 70s right now that are just getting at it. I find that so inspiring. It's amazing. You know, I pushed hard to lose and get ready to go for the Super.
We're about to lose one, right? We're about to lose one who's racing. I'm not saying to death, but the guy who's going to race the Rotex Worlds and retire, he said that's it. This is his crowning achievement.
He said wasn't. Yeah, you go.
Shout out to my guy Billy. Shout out to my guy Billy Cleveland.
Bill Cleveland, who earned himself a ticket to be Team USA at Bahrain at the Rotex Grand Finals. He said he's not going to do more nationals anymore.
Oh, wow.
So maybe you never know. Maybe we can drag him back out. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll see what plays out there.
Look, it's fun. It's fun. I have a different view, right? Some promoters, some programs will only talk about stuff that happens in their own world, and I'm just excited that of the 9 U.S. drivers that are going to the Rotex Worlds, 6 of them are challenge vets. Right?
Yeah.
There's what? Wang with 3, Billy with 1, Nick's Corn. There's 7 challenge championships, I think.
Wang's got 4, I think.
Yeah. And then Billy has 1, Nick's has 1, Gage has 1, right?
Yep.
So it's like, man, it's just fun to see our guys doing well. In our arena, obviously, they've been earning championships or whatever for a long time, and then going nationally and then internationally. It's just good luck. I'm just happy, right? Good luck to all Team USA. Just like with KC, our ex-flagman, doing well at the Tillotson Worlds. I mean, it's just as a go-kart dork like I am, it's just fun to see that kind of stuff.
So, hey, listen. So we're gonna wrap things up here. We got about 5 minutes to go, even less than that if you want to knock this out at an hour. Hour
and a half, Andy, 3 hours. I'm good. Hold on.
I'll go.
I'm good. I got time.
I didn't make a drink, so
nothing.
This is something new for you, right? It's been, you did all those years with Rotex, then that evolved over to Rock. You did Rock for a number of years. How does it feel to be like? What's your feeling going into this thing completely differently? Because it's so different, right? You're not married to one manufacturer. It's wide open. It's an independent program. Do you have a different feel going in? Like, is there some unknown to a certain extent? New tires?
There isn't, and there is. I mean, let's be fair. Anybody who knows me as being pretty fiercely independent, regardless of what program I've been attached to. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I was Rotex Mojo for 10 years. I've been, Rock Levanto, well, Rock Bridgestone first, so Rock Levanto for 6 years, and now it's independent Challenge Vega. In the end, the formula is very much the same. You know what really changes is the prizes. Is what I'm having to step outside of my comfort zone, because, like I said, our whole sport is built around everybody puts an arm around their little group. Here, you can see like this. There's a little group, and anybody who supports us is going to get a prize back, and that's it, right? But instead, I have the ability to have Miami and Rock maybe race against each other. Like, hey, maybe if somebody races our 100cc class and they register as an Miami driver, does Miami give them contingency money if they win a championship? Does Miami give them contingency money? Does Tom, throwing it out there, hey Neil, pay attention. Hey Tom, hey Neil, if a guy wins my 100cc championship on an Miami, does he get a ticket to the Supernats? If he wins it on a Rock, does he get a ticket to Rock Vegas? I don't know. I don't know if the industry can handle that yet. But think of where other motorsports are in this, right? Think about Supercross. Think of where manufacturers compete against each other. There's contingency money. Look at every NASCAR. There's 53 little stickers on the side. If you finish fifth, you get $50 from K&N, and you get, you know what I'm saying? It's a different world, and I'm taking a risk, right? It removes the safety net. It removes that nice safety net. But in the end, the safety net right now in karting has little value because the way the West Coast is right now. I like that safety net. It's nice. I had a great experience with Rock. I have zero hard feelings to them. I hope they have zero hard feelings with me. I'm still a Rock dealer. But the point is, we have to wrap our arms around as many people as possible, and this was the way that I had to do it to make it work.
DC?
I was kind of just wanting to throw a bombshell, like I know because we haven't run any races yet, but thinking outside the box, could there be the possibility of next year opening up to even more engine platforms?
As far as like what? I mean, I don't want to move beyond what's being raced by 98% of the country, right? I mean, obviously you can race an Miami.
I'm just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there.
What are you gonna do? You gonna make your own engine, David, or?
Well, I mean, there are other engines out there that
look. How many KZ engines are homologated? Do you know?
I have no idea on that.
I don't know either. There's 6 OKN engines homologated, so
right.
There's 6 manufacturers, right?
Yeah.
Rock and Miami.
Well, remember, and he doesn't run the Rock GP X30 to bring in Rotax.
Well, okay. What about a Rotax Mini and Micro, or something like that?
Those are so different.
Okay.
So very different.
Yeah. Right? I just wanted to put it out there. Yeah.
Right. Think that the Mini Rock and Mini Swift, the same bore, same stroke, same carburetor. Right. Right. For years, we couldn't race a KPV and a Yamaha together, even though they had the same bore, same stroke, same carburetor. Right. Oh my God, we can't possibly do that. Right.
Yeah.
And then we went to 100% single brand, mono brand. Right. It's funny is.
Okay.
Some guys that argue for monobrand racing are the same guys when they were 20 years old were over in Europe racing against 10 different engine manufacturers. But now that they're involved with an engine manufacturer, it has to be monobrand, right?
So, yeah. 10 different engines and 4 different tires.
Like
everybody's different tires over there too.
Yeah, and because again, you think about the tag program, and it was like 20 different engines. Like I just was looking at a photo from the Beelan engine.
Let's get a Beelan. I knew you were going to bring that up.
But it's just
it's
because again, we all have, decades of experience in the sport. So we've seen all these different types of things. So again, I just was throwing it out there for people who might not know about, why you can run these two engines very similar with one another, and why not others or whatever else. So just throwing a bombshell.
Tag racing had its place. I get it as the sport made its change. I think the Mini Rock and Mini Swift are close enough. I think the VLR and the KA, which with our 10-pound weight break, they're close enough, right? Obviously, KZ and OKN, they're built to a spec. So they're all built to the same thing. I think we're going to
they were designed to run together.
You can run a Rock,
to run together anyways.
Exactly. You can run a Rock and Miami at all my 7 classes, right? You can run a TM or a Mac, not Maxter, but you can run a TM or any in 3 of them. OKN, a Modena, right? In OKN, KZ or KZ Masters or Shifter Masters, in addition to the Rock Shifter. So literally for the 100cc and the cadet classes, those engines that I offer are being run in those classes by 99% of the United States.
That's the key.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Adding another one throws a whole nother wrench in that could piss off the 99%.
That's why I said I just threw a bombshell out. Just wanted to see where it went.
No bombshell.
David always trying to shit disturber. That's what he is.
Freaking Dave.
I'm a big straw. I'm a big straw.
Like Rob said, use that language for your wife, Dave.
Oh, come on. Really? We can't bring text messages into this.
Hold on.
There you go. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Andy, let's wrap this thing up. It's been an hour. Any final thoughts? Again, 2 months away from the opening round, February 2nd, 3rd, 4th, Musselman Honda Circuit, clockwise, which I think is cool. I don't even remember we did that before. I'd have to go back and think about it. But I think new season, ready to rock?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just put into place the last couple personnel that I had to, because we lost a couple, had a couple, just in some grid places. Not demeaning them. I'm just saying our core 12 or our core 12, and then we have a couple that have kind of come and gone. Hopefully, those people stay on for years and years and years. My hotel reservations are done. Hotels. Okay. Hotels are tough in Musselman, right? We released our room blocks. Those room blocks literally end in like 3 weeks because there's a huge event in Tucson, a huge gem show. So if you need to get a room, you better get on it now. Otherwise, you're going to be spending $300 a night in a room. So there's a couple blocks that are under $200. That's where we are right now. And there's not many rooms left. So take advantage of that. Get on hotels.com, do what you can, but you better do it now because those blocks expire in a couple weeks.
There you go. Is that it?
Aside from that, man, I'm just doing the last minute. It's funny. I talk about this in the very first driving meet of every year, but it's like, I start this in June, right? You start plugging in the dates. Last couple of years, after years of stabbing each other in the back, for lack of a better term, we've been working with USPKS and SCUSA and Rock Fuller Winter Tour, and be able to create a schedule that's user friendly. That at least we're back-to-back weekends. There's only so many weekends in the year, but at least we're not on top of each other. So we've been able to do that, right? So you spend that June, July period working that all out. And then it's getting figuring out your track deals. Then it's figuring out your hotel deals. Then it's figuring out, you know what I mean? It just goes and goes and goes. And all of a sudden you wake up and it's literally January 30th and I'm standing in Tucson. Right? And I close my eyes again and it's April 15th and I'm driving away from Sonoma. And it's like,
it sounds like an Eagles song.
Yeah, take it easy. Take it easy. The best part about this year, DC, is March Madness is between my last 2 rounds, so I can literally watch every game if I want.
Enjoy it all.
And not
that
have
is,
to.
That is a good part.
Those are the times on e-karting is where you'll see the content kind of wading away.
I know.
It's just Thursdays and Fridays.
This is David all week.
TV's over there.
It's right there.
Luckily, the new house has 4 TVs in it, so I can put a different game on every TV and run room to room to room to room.
That's good. You don't run anywhere.
The one TV is actually outside. Wait, what'd you say?
I said you don't run anywhere. Let's be real.
Downhill.
Okay. All right, so listen, let's just kind of wrap things up with the check marks. 17th edition of the program coming up, right? 17th.
Yes.
Independent year, so not connected to Rock this year. It's an open program, which I think is exciting. New tire coming in, as we know, with the Vega, opening up stuff in shifters that you're allowed KZ and Rock going head to head, which I think will be great. OKN back again for the because remember, let's just throw this out there as a little check mark as well. The first ever OKN race in the world.
First ever in the world, actually.
It was a challenge last year. Yeah, indeed.
Awesome.
So, and last but not least, I think because I want to reiterate this for those on the West Coast, we hear a lot about people on the East Coast. Man, they're racing every weekend. Blah blah blah. If you're a club or a regional racer on the West Coast, there's really only one winter series, right? Unless you want to spend all the money to travel, there's one winter series. And if you're a guy on the West Coast, and I want to reiterate this because we're talking about the stability of the sport and the future of it, East Coast is strong. I go back, 2 decades ago, and it was all about the West Coast. It was all about California. It's all about the West Coast. The East Coast had the inferiority complex. It's flipped around just based on, I think, tracks and whatever it may be. But if you're a club racer, regional racer, or a driver on the West Coast, this is, obviously we know the Pad Holder Super Cup up there in the Pacific Northwest is great. But some of the drivers there, if you're a guy, a regional guy, come down to the challenge because, Andy, I think the bottom line is we'll talk about this to cap things off. This is a crucial time right now, especially with you opening things up. It allows a lot more people to come.
Yep.
The time is now for the West Coast people to get together, stop bullshitting each other, stop fighting. All the infightings, we know what happens in Northern California. It's time to start working together so this thing doesn't go downhill.
Yes, good job. I
Can't
agree.
say much more than
No,
that.
no,
right?
you've got look. You could say like you could say that if I say that, like, oh, that Andy is a jerk off for saying that stuff. But you can say it because you're like, as much as we hate it, you're the voice of the sport. You are. So,
I appreciate it, but it's true. It's true. It's time, man. It is time. We got to build this thing back up again.
If you want the sport to survive in an area, and I sound like the debates. America's going to die. No, the sport's not going to die. We're going to be. But if you want it to succeed, you have to be able to invest, and it takes time. It takes money from a consumer standpoint and a team standpoint and a series standpoint. Right? We're a triangle. I've never been involved in something where one side seems to always hate one of the other sides, and neither of the sides can exist without any of the other ones. Right? You have consumers, teams, and the series. Right? And we all need each other.
Yeah. It's a symbiotic relationship for sure.
Right. So, symbiotic. Very nice. It's like David's tapeworm.
I love when Dave lines up with the punching bag every once in a while. It's so good.
I mean, once in a while. It's all day. That's all I saw today.
All day. Look, you're just lucky Beer's not on here. You'd have been like,
yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't texted during this show. An hour has gone by without him insulting.
Dave would have just muted him. He would have been sitting there by himself by the fire drinking another cocktail.
I would exit.
In the end, Rob, in closing, dude, I'm super excited for next year. It's like you said, it's a very different thing. But it's still the same thing. It's still the same people, it's same track, same feel, same organization. Some of the ingredients change, but I think the ingredients might get better. It's like making a cake, and you're like, I don't need this one, but I'm gonna put this one in, and it might be better.
We had this conversation the year we went from Rotax to Rock when you moved to the Rock program. Yeah. We talked about the fact that some of the ingredients have changed, but the structure of it, right, is all the same. The people were there, the structure of running the program. That's you can plug and play the engines and the tires. It's the same people, it's the same structure, and it's the same format. And that's what works well. And you're saying now you've opened things up that maybe you're allowed. You're bringing in a higher quality ingredient because you're allowing more people to come in and be part of it. So in the end, this could be at 17 could be the best year for the challenge we've seen.
That's the goal. People stay close to home this winter and come race. We'll see you in Tucson in February.
146 entries. That's the goal. We're going to break the record. That is the goal for the first run. Andy, thank you, bud. I appreciate you joining us again. 2 months away. We'll see you there. Thanks, Andy. We'll let him go. David, that's the bottom line, man. Challenging the Americas. This is going to be a really interesting year because it's going to open things up a little bit. We saw a lot of real excitement cut through the comments as well. And it just feels like there's kind of a bit of momentum moving to get this thing going in the right direction.
It's weird that he mentioned cake because that hasn't been one of the food topics ever in our text change. So I don't normally it's pizza or
there's never a cake food
chili.
Truck there.
Never really, but in our text, like what we make at home and stuff, nobody makes cake. So I wonder, I'll have to look back at that, but that's essentially what it is. That's a great way to end it is, it's the same type of cake, just a little bit different ingredients. And again, you're going to look back, you're going to look at, 10 years down the road, you're going to look at pictures of 2024 challenge. You're going to see it. You'll look at pictures from 2019 or 2010, or even back then, and just kind of like, the carts look a little different, but it still has, big fields and the same type of atmosphere and the same look. And that's essentially what you're going to get when you go to the challenge, because that's one thing that's been consistent across the first 16 years of it. It's been consistently a series developed for the racers themselves. So.
It's about having a good time. And David, I know we say it ad nauseum, but we always say this: culture's top down, right? The way Andy focuses on his program is so people can get there and have a great experience. He puts the right people in the place. He walks back. He steps back, lets them do their job. Kind of what I do with you. I let you do your thing. I just step back.
Yeah, to a point.
All right, we're out, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. Again, as Andy had said, not a set date to open registration. They're working on some new website stuff, so look next week at their Facebook page. Whatever they do, we'll share it as well, so make sure to follow the social on ekartingnews.com. We'll let you know when things get registered. Andy did kind of give you some good insight there. If you're coming, get a room in the room block. That gem show is massive. It blew me out of the water when we first came through Tucson. It's a massive show. Everybody's there. The rooms go pretty quickly. So get the room in the room block. Get that done for sure. This is going to be a fantastic year of challenge racing. And again, we look forward to it. February, the 2nd to 4th, round 1, March 1st to 3rd, round 2, and April the 12th to the 14th, round number 3 up in Sonoma. We hope to see you guys on there, on the trail. We'll have, of course, our EKN Trackside live coverage throughout the entire season. We'll do our live audio of all the events. David, of course, covering everything like we always do. And we look forward again to being trackside. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning into another edition of Face to Face. This was number 77 with Andy Seesemann from the FTK Promotions crew and the Challenge in Americas. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.